Chapter 10, Section D on page 354. Get to where I can write. This time we're going to be finding the principal, the rate, or the time for the following loans. In your book it shows you several different formulas to use depending on what you're solving for, but they're all the same formula. I'm going to teach you how to use it just using the same formula and solving for the one that's missing. We're still going to use the simple interest formula that we've been using, which is I equals P times R times T. I'm going to go right over here and we're just going to talk just a very little bit about algebra, and we're going to consider some of the things that we already know. If I have 3 times 2 equals 6, then you would agree that that is a correct statement. So if I took one of those pieces out, then you could still solve for the missing number. If over on this side 3 is being multiplied, then when we bring it across, in order to solve for n, we have to divide. It works the same. You'll do the opposite of what you're doing. If you're multiplying on this side of the equal sign, when you bring it across, you will divide. If you're dividing on this side of the equal sign, when you bring it across, you'll multiply. The same thing is for addition and subtraction. If you're adding on this side of the equal sign, to bring it across, you will subtract. If you're subtracting on this side of the equal sign, to bring it across, you'll multiply. And that's all really we have to remember in order to use this equation. I know you're like, oh no, it sounds complicated, but really it's very easy. Now we're going to start with our same formula, I equals P times R times T, and we're going to fill in the blanks of what we already know. I know my interest, so it's 81.90 equals my principal. I do not know, so I'm going to leave it at P. And then my rate, I know, that's 13%. My time, I know, is 120 out of 360 days. Now we've been talking about how every time we see this line, that means divided by. Okay, now let's consider the whole problem. We need to solve for P. That means we need to take everything on this side and put it on this side, leaving P by itself. Okay, I always like to start at the same place every time. That way I'm always doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and it makes my life easier because I don't have to remember things. I always start here and then go here, here, and here. Right now I consider 360. 360 is currently being divided, so when I bring it across the equal sign, I will multiply. Now 120 is being multiplied, so to bring it across, I will divide. Now 13% is currently being multiplied, so to bring it across, I will divide. Now I've got everything on this side except for P, leaving P alone. That means when I solve this equation, that will give me the results of P. So now all I have to do is bring out my handy dandy calculator and put in 81.90 times 360 divided by 120 divided by 0.13, and my results, 1,890 equals P. Easy? I hope you think so. Let's do the next one. That way we'll get an example of all of them. Okay. We're on number 12, part D on page 354. I'm starting with the same formula. Simple interest formula. I equals P times R times T. Then I'm filling the blanks. My interest is $15.76. My principal is $675.50. My rate is 14%. My time, I do not know, so I'll leave it as T. I do know, however, that it's going to be out of 360 days. Okay? Always, always, always start at the same place. I'm going to be solving for T this time. I always start with my 360. My 360 is currently being divided. So to bring it over, I will multiply times 360. My 14% is currently being multiplied. So to bring it over, I will divide. And my $675.50 is currently being multiplied. So to bring it over, I will divide. My writing's getting worse, I believe. Okay. That leaves me with T on this side and an equation to solve for on this side. So I bring out my calculator. 1576 times 360 divided by 0.14 divided by 675.50 equals 59.99. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never heard a banker say, show up at midnight on the day of. So I'm going to round this to the nearest day, which is 60 days. So that's a 60-day loan. Very good. I hope you're finding this easy. Our next one, we're going to be solving for rate, and we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to start with our formula for simple interest, which is I equals P times R times T. My interest, I know, it's $296.10. My principal, I know, $9,870. My rate, I don't know, so I'm going to leave it at R. My time is 60, and I'm doing this out of 360 days. I always start at the same place. I suggest here. 360 is currently being divided, so to bring it across, I'll multiply. 60 is currently being multiplied, so to bring it across, I will divide. 9,870 is currently being multiplied, so to bring it across, I will divide, leaving me with R on this side and my equation on this side. Okay, here we go. 296.1 times 360 divided by 60 divided by 9,810 equals 0. I need to see that again. 018. 0. Let me do it again. 296.1 times 360 divided by 60 divided by 9810. Okay. That equals 0.18. So 0.18 equals my rate. I also know that my rate always has to be in the form of a percent. So 12, which makes it 18%. Okay, that concludes part D. Go ahead and work those on your own and see if you can do those by yourself. If you cannot, be sure to send